Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm JBLUE,
I'm Fadia.
It's Young T in the building.
and today we have some interesting news. So, I just got a note from my instructor that she isn't coming in today for our course, the journalism course. And so I just want to give a shout out to my professor. She's been really working really hard, and I hope and pray, I hope the best for her. Hope she gets well. In the past, I had released an article, and it was called "Local Artists to Release EP Soon." And Mr. Smooth and Young T, they had opened up for X-Rated, and they had been on KJCC multiple times, and then the pandemic came and it just shut everything down. And so I'm just glad that we're back here again. And we also have the Amazing Fofo Radio. She's in the radio broadcasting class. And so, and we have our wonderful radio producer here today. So, Young T, tell us what's going on with you.
Just working like everybody else out there. Got music coming with some phenomenal artists. Won't say everybody's names, but actually I'm not going to say anybody's names. Just be on the lookout. Some new stuff coming. Multiple genres. If you've already been following me, you've seen that I've done everything for rock and roll. Of course, shout out Mr. Smooth. We finna get Litty catalog. It's all that 420 stuff. So if you a bud smoker, get up on that. I think you got something up in there that you're going to dig. Got some more traditional hip hop coming out, some gore stuff. I mean, pretty much a mixed bag. Be on the lookout for it. I think you're going to dig some of it.
Okay, so Young T, where can we find Young T and Mr. Smooth, the We Finna Get Litty?
So the We Finna Get Litty catalog is all on SoundCloud, everything that we've done. We actually pulled down a couple of songs. I'll be talking to Mr. Smooth about re-releasing those. Some technical difficulties ran across us, and we decided to take a couple of things down, but everything else is still there.
Okay.
If you want, sounds like my mic is dying. But if you're looking for my solo stuff, I'm on all platforms, YouTube. I'm not on SoundCloud, but YouTube, Apple, everywhere. So Young T, capital Y, capital T. Look me up.
Okay. How come Mr. Smooth's not here today?
Well, my crimey is currently living in Las Vegas. Financials, just like everybody else, trying to get out of Cali because it's way too expensive to live here, especially in the Bay Area.
Okay.
So, him and his wife got a home out there. He's pursuing a few business ventures out there. He don't know it, but we got some more stuff coming in the future.
Okay.
Like I said, all of our music is there on SoundCloud. Mr. Smooth also has a channel, and my apologies if you listening. Call in, text me something, and let me know where your solo stuff is at. I know that his stuff that he did before we were doing music is on YouTube. Mr. Smooth, literally Mr. Smooth. Look him up. He's done everything from reggae, some blues, some rock. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he's got something for you.
Okay. SoundCloud. I heard that name, SoundCloud, before. So how's that platform working for you, SoundCloud?
Mr. Smooth manages that. I just go on there and listen and see what the feedback is. But, everything I've seen on there has been positive.
Okay.
People dig the music, we're not some super established group, so we don't have 10 million followers or anything like that. But like I said, all the feedback I've seen has been good. So if you're looking for us there, my apologies, I didn't say the name. We Finna Get Litty. That's 2 N's, and We Finna Get Litty. It's all 420. Look us up. You'll know the page because it's got a big bud leaf on there and some animated caricatures of both of us.
Yeah. So I remember in 2019, we had you on the San Jose City College Times article, local artists to release EP. You had released some projects, but what happened with releasing something every 420 of the year?
Well, like I said, so Mr. Smooth, he had a family member pass.
Okay.
Not giving up too much information, but as a result of that, he really didn't have anything holding him here. And like I said, it's expensive out here.
Uh-huh.
So, he took his nest egg and took it to a spot where he could not completely buy himself a home, but basically make it so that he could live comfortably for the rest of his life, with his wife. And that allows him to not have to work his fingers to the bone on a daily basis and then try to do music on top of that. So now he's doing some other business ventures and enjoying life out there.
Fadia, did you have any questions? Do you have anything?
Do you have any perform coming out this year?
Not yet. I basically wanted to wait until I had a larger catalog of my own. As of now, I've only got 5 solo songs. I've got a bunch of features on other people's stuff, but I'm not one of those people that like to go out and do, I'm going to do 5 single verses. I want to give you a full set. I don't mind doing a verse or two, if I happen to be there with one of or some of those artists, but I prefer to be able to give you a full set. And if one of those featured artists want to come out and rock with me, we'll do that. But like I said, I got more stuff coming out this year. Several solo songs and a few featured as well. So at that point, I'll be able to start rocking some shows.
Nice. You know what? The feedback I get here at the San Jose City College has been wonderful. Every time they hear Puffin' by the Pound or, they hear some Young T and Mr. Smooth, we finna get Litty Duo. They shout, they proud, they cheerful, happy.
Right on. Much appreciated.
And we never get tired of it. So
that's what's up.
So the thing is that I noticed that in the industry, it's a contest. There's always everybody's trying to compete for supremacy.
Yes, sir.
How does that work? How do you balance that?
Well, for myself, as this is more of a hobby than a career, I don't really let that get to me. I follow several people who are living that struggle, and I'm a music guy. If you look at my phone right now, I've got more than 30,000 songs in my phone.
Okay.
So I appreciate the struggle. I appreciate the art form in all genres. I don't just listen to hip hop. I'm born in the 70s, but I was raised in the 80s. So, I grew up on G-funk and blues and R&B. My family, when I was little, we watched shows like Hee Haw, but then we watched Soul Train. So, I like all music. So I'll throw out a couple examples. I'm a person that I'll listen to anything from Brother Lynch to, Diggable Planets. I may not own all their stuff, but Lynch, I got the whole catalog. But, X-Rated. My favorite artist is Tech Nine. Nobody can touch him. My favorite artist in all music, period, is Prince. Nobody can touch him. The debate between Michael and him is not a debate. Prince is a way better artist. So, yeah, when I see people that get caught up in that stuff, I'll throw out an example that, that whole beef between Bone and everybody who had that type of style, excluding probably Tech, I thought was silly because they took it to a level that them cats couldn't touch. So in the battle for supremacy, I think really what artists need to do is find their lane. And even if you got a style that's similar to somebody or you model yourself after somebody, there's something that makes you as an individual artist. So pump that. You know what I'm saying? Me, myself, I did the stuff with Mr. Smooth and we got more stuff coming, but I don't want to be considered that that's my lane. All I do is smoke bud and rap about smoking bud. I want to rap about everything that I know about, everything that I've experienced. So, I'm trying to give people a little sample of what it is to be somebody who lived in my shoes, so to speak. So I won't be necessarily battling anybody, but some of my music you might consider not necessarily battle rap, but kind of braggadocio. I'm going to speak on what I know on, and I don't think anybody can do it quite like I do. So
Okay. So, I like this because, everybody has their piece to the pie. Yes, and sir. Everybody can bring something to the table that everybody else didn't do or they didn't, y'all formed that formation, and started that. And so how is it that that you're able to step into the industry and maintain the momentum and the fan base? How do you and how does it like how do you balance growing the fan base and networking and growing with the musicians?
So for me, like I said, I mean, one thing I want to say is obviously by my age bracket, I'm late to the game. This is something that, that again, Mr. Smooth, Mr. Smooth, and the homie June, rest in peace, was talking about doing this in the late 80s. I moved to San Jose in 89. So actually, let's say the early 90s. This was something that we would kick it around the park, Hathaway Park, right up the street up here. And I mean, as we sitting there drinking, blowing bud, we was rapping. I mean, and June and Mr. Smooth was singing, but it was just something that we did for fun. It wasn't something that we really thought of as a career. We had a DJ in common, shout out C-Nut, wherever you at, holla at me, man, because we should do something. But again, it was just a habit, didn't think anything of it. I was a hard hit, so I was in and out of jail a lot. So, and then kids came, so it just kind of fell to the wayside. Essentially, one day, Mr. Smooth got at me, jokingly challenged me to get on a song with him, because he was doing music. So I did it, and it just kind of came from there. As a result of doing that, doing the shows like the Rated Show, I've networked with a lot of local artists, and I mean, projects are in progress, you know what I'm saying? Projects have been done. Shout out Young Rebel, shout out G Money, shout out Sheffy the Monica, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all putting me on. Looking forward to doing more with all of y'all and some more, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Dip Dope Music, looking forward to doing stuff with y'all. Shout out Sean Black, we got a recording session coming up. Shout out, who else?
Shout out to everybody.
Shots fired. Appreciate the beats. You know what I'm saying? Man. So, I mean, it's just a matter of keeping yourself entertained by what's around you, using that to fuel your desire to keep doing it. I mean, because, it's hard. I got to work. It's not like I got bread where I could just, post up in the studio all day and record. I wish I had it like that, but I got to be selective about what I'm purchasing or getting from people to, and my apologies, shout out Crease Reese. I got to be selective about what I'm grabbing and throwing myself out there in because, it's real easy to get pigeonholed. Some of the best artists out there, in my opinion, have been pigeonholed because they've done a couple of things and people just kind of associate them with that. And like I said, I want to be somebody who's versatile. The artists that I think are the dopest are the most versatile. The M's, the Lynches, the Tech Nines, the people like, you put them on any track, any type of track, any type of subject matter, and they gonna kill it. So, I'm not comparing myself to them artists, but those are the ones that I hope when people listen to me are like, I can feel him because he's emulating some of that type of stuff. He ain't gonna be just the same run of the mill copycat type, trying to be Lil Wayne, trying to be Pac, you know what I'm saying, trying to be NW, whatever. I want to fit in a category that doesn't exist yet. I want to create my own category.
Wow. How much more time do we have? Okay, listen. Okay, thanks. I appreciate you.
We unlimited.
Yeah,
let's get it.
So how is that working for you? You work right across the street from San Jose City College. Tell us, we were just discussing that. How is that working for you?
Well, luckily, I work graveyard. So, that's a mixed bag. Me working graveyard means I'm tired usually during the daytime. However, when I'm awake, everybody's asleep. So I can shoot out messages. Like literally, even last night, I was shooting out messages to people about getting down on tracks and whatnot. So it allows me to grind at the time that everybody else is, to grind it on the craft as opposed to the 9 to 5 while everybody else is doing it reverse. So having that oddball schedule, if I showed you my phone right now, man, I've got probably 700 partially written songs. I didn't even have a beat. I just, started writing, bars, you know what I'm saying? So it allows me to marinate in a different fashion than other people do. And, it keeps the craft going. So,
How do you write when you decide to write a song? Does something come to mind and then you just decide, I want to write something. I want to write this. Or do you just you know what, I feel like writing today, and you just go and just decide what you're going to write?
Yes. All of the above. So
all of the above.
There's times when literally I've been listening to somebody else, generally happens when I'm in my old school mode. I'll be listening to some Cameo, some Parliament or something, and like, I'll come across a riff in there, and then my head just starts playing it over and over, and I'll just start writing. But other times I'm literally just I started a bar. I got interrupted, and a phone call came or something happened, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep that and I'm gonna come back to it.
Okay.
And like I said, I've got a couple of documents on my phone right now where I literally wrote like 90 bars. They may not even go together. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's just something to come back to. And that scribbling that I did, at 3 o'clock in the morning on a break at work, will turn into 1, 2, 10 songs, so.
I listen to your music and it sounds like you're bringing back some of that 90s hip hop type of sound.
For sure.
What was your reaction to Coolio's death?
Man, so in an odd way, I gravitated towards Coolio. I mean, back in the days, when he was with the Mad Circle and Dub C, just because of his story. I mean, not saying that my story is the same as his, but we've lived in some of the same places. We kind of have gone through some of the same experience. I mean, I never smoked no crack, but we've lived some of the same experiences. So I respected him in the game, and I really respected him because he kept doing it way past the time that a lot of artists would have given up. And like with the majority of the artists that I've stuck with, let's throw some names out there again: Tech, Lynch, 40, Short. You know what I'm saying? Cube. Not everybody can keep that going. You know what I'm saying? Most cats, even big cats, I mean, it's like one album, maybe even one single, or it took them 10, 15 albums to get on, and then they never did anything else again. So, I mean, I just kind of feel like he found his lane. I mean, when he first came out, he was doing G shit. You know what I'm saying? But, he kind of found that, okay, I can be kind of comical, kind of like taking it to a
Nickelodeon.
What's that?
Nickelodeon?
Yeah. Like he found a way to keep himself, relevant in multiple lanes. I mean, he did a lot of cheesy sci-fi movies, and truth be told, my ambition in life was to become a writer, director, producer of my own film. I mean, and I actually still want to do that, but that's if. But I mean, so I think his loss. And, it's funny because he kind of got a resurgence because, what is it, the Blonde Brewer? I don't know if you guys follow them on social media, but they do a bunch of little silly videos and whatnot.
Okay.
And they're a couple, and, like, they would, like, basically talk shit about each other in front of each other, and, like, whoever got the best lick, the other one would, like, throw something at them. And they would always play Gangsta's Paradise whenever, the punchline was there. And, for them, they actually met him on a trip, and it was a big deal. So, I mean, shout out to Coolio's family. Shout out to the Blonde Brewer. He was a man. He's going to be missed. I wish we would have got more music out of him before he passed. But, he made his mark.
Wow. You said that you moved to San Jose in 1989?
Yes, sir.
That's crazy. I just want to ask you this. It just stumbled upon me. Vashon's album, X-Rated, rapper X-Rated, his album dropped in 1992, Psychoactive.
Man.
Where were you in 1989 when that album dropped? Or, where were you in 92 and what was that like?
I was in the county. I was doing a year in the county because I told you I was a hardhead. I was doing a year and a day in the county. Won't tell you the details. But,
okay.
When I got out, that was one of the first albums I heard. I mean, even back then. So the Sacramento sound, I was exposed. I can't even remember some of these artists' names from back then. But, I mean, one artist is sticking out in my head right now from Oak Park, and he had the song called Get Your Drinking On. And it was like the Northern California version of Southern California G shit. So it stuck out to me. Rated wasn't quite like that. Lynch wasn't quite like that. Marvelous wasn't quite like that, but it was like kind of in that same lane. And at that time, that's what I listened to. I mean, NWA, King T, we've talked about this before. I mean, the roots of West Coast hip hop, whether you want to believe it or not, the most influential group in California history, period, when it comes to hip hop, was World Class Wrecking Crew. Out of that group, you got artists like, I mean, not specifically from that group, but obviously Dr. Dre, DJ Unknown, from DJ Unknown, you get CMW and pretty much everybody that wasn't a Dre affiliate from the West Coast and Southern California. And they also produce artists from up north. Matter of fact, I believe if you look back in history, Lynch, and I can't remember the other artist that was on Black Market, they actually almost were affiliated with Dre from way back then. So if anybody is a Rated or Lynch fan and you can verify that or prove me wrong, by all means do that. Bang me, you know what I'm saying? But that time period brought a lot of what we call West Coast music to the forefront. I mean, without that, you wouldn't have E40 and everybody biting his style from Arizona to Canada. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you wouldn't have Short, bitch, my favorite word. All those artists wouldn't have had their lane, in my opinion, if it wasn't for those original guys. You know what I'm saying? Again, I mean, Short was around before Rated, but Rated took it. Short was popular because, saying bitch. You know what I'm saying? And it was funky. And, those the 75 girls had dope 808s. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and they did their thing. But Rated said, Rated and Lynch said, well, I'm going to do gangster shit and y'all going to dig it. So, I mean, that was influential. The first 3 albums by Rated. I mean, like, you got to put those up there with, you can't put them up there with, like, the original Ice-T. But, I mean, it's, like, right there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, so it was an honor for me, especially, also Mr. Smooth, but it was an honor to get on the same stage as Rated, especially him coming home. I believe that was only his second show. I think he had one in Southern Cal, and then he came to San Ho. I think we did our thing.
Yeah, I also think that he just had, like, his first newcomer, or, like, he had his first baby, or...
I think he had a daughter before, but this is his first. I mean, he was down for 26 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I just know, I noticed.
Yeah,
well, shout out to X-Rated. Shout out to Fashawn. Man. Yeah, because he's been working really hard, and I've been watching his stuff.
Yeah, and, Rockstar Strange, man, y'all doing it, man. Oh, and by the way, that last show that they did in the cruise, if you didn't go, y'all missed out. They killed that shit. I mean, Tech always kills it. I've now seen Rated 4 times. Man, phenomenal artists.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all of the artists out of Sacramento too, because I just went out there to meet Sibo, man. Rapper Sibo, that's a good brother, man. Shout out to OG, big bald head nut.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. That was wonderful. I got to really, stand backstage, on stage, everything. It was off the hook.
Yes, sir. West Coast Mafia.
I think they had I just think that they had like a West Coast Mafia tour. I think it's still going on, but if you guys want to, just go to Sibo's Instagram and YouTube. And then, yeah, man. So back to you, Young T. What happened after that night when y'all performed, when you're open for X-Rated in 2019? So,
I mean, literally, we instantly started getting collab requests. We actually did a few. Shout out Wooster. If you ain't hip to Wooster, follow him. I believe his IG is Concrete Spits. So we did a Raider song with him. Shout out the Raiders. Let's get it together this season. We also did a Bud Smoking song with him called Get High Up in the Clouds Right Now. I can't remember the title of the song, but it's a dope one. Wooster got Spits. And like I said, instantly got collab requests, instantly started networking, embraced by the San Jose hip-hop community as well as rock and roll. I mean, it changed things for me instantly. And like a lot of my partners were saying, man, you should have been doing this a long time ago. I mean, that really was an affirmation for me. And that's kind of why I'm still doing it.
Wow. That's crazy because, like, you guys just started doing it, like, in late, 2018
yes,
or
sir.
sometime.
Yes, sir.
And that was, like, right around the same time X-Rated got released out of prison. And
yes,
so,
sir.
like, I think you were right. Maybe that might have been his first or second show. When he came out here, I was like, that was the first time anyone got to see him in Northern Cali.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, wow, that was a great experience.
Yeah, I was
because I watched you perform that night, and that was a great show. And y'all actually uploaded some of the clips to that, event that night on YouTube and Facebook.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
what talk about the video? What was that like? Like who did the production and the highlights on that video?
The video for so that particular song where it incorporated everything, that was the title track, We Finna Get Litty. That was shot by Garland Yee, as well as a bunch of people who were in the crowd at the rated show. So, like I said, we incorporated some of that into the video. People doing it on their phones and whatnot. Yeah, that's now my partner, but that was really Sean's partner, Mr. Smooth. And we had done Puffin' by the Pounds with him as well. So it was just natural that he'd be the person to do it. And, bruh, I'm going to tell you, this cat had 2 cameras on his back plus a camera in his hand, and he was working all 3 of those at the same time to get the footage from that. I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
What?
Garland,
Wow.
if you listening, bruh, to this day, I still salute you for that. And anybody in San Jose who needs video production, man, reach out to this cat, man. You know, he gonna show you some love.
Shout out to Garland Yee. Yeah, I actually met him, man.
Yeah.
I didn't see him with 3 cameras, but
Yeah,
I know he was the cameraman.
Yeah,
and he did a good job.
right there in the front row. He even caught the girl that ended up early in the front of the stage, and they kicked her out there. But obviously, I didn't make it in the video. But yeah, she was on one, probably on some ecstasy or something. She was on, it was lovely.
yeah. Is that so? That was the name of the video. It was called
We Finna Get Litty.
We Finna Get Litty.
Yeah.
And by the way, shout out to Static Electricity.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Got music coming with Static soon. A few tracks actually.
Yeah, that's good, man. He was actually on the We Finna Get Litty music video.
Yes, sir.
That's when I seen the video.
And him.
Shout
out JBLUE.
Yeah, man. That was so. I really remember Garland a lot because the way he did those edits, those shots, and angles, and everything. I was like, man. I'm like, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I just never got a chance to get anyone to hear, the production of that music video.
For sure.
And shout out to Garland. Shout out to the production team. Everybody that participated. And what made y'all and why did you come up with the song We Finna Get Litty?
Well, the concept was by Mr. Smooth.
Okay.
We kind of collaborated on the beat selection for the entire catalog, but he was the one who went out there and did the searching. I mean, like, again, this is something that I thought about doing a bunch of years ago and just never found the time, had to work, all that type of stuff. Smooth has always been doing some type of music. So, I mean, his ear is just to the ground all the time. I mean, he found a couple of producers and, basically gave them, here's what I've got in my head conceptually, and this is what they threw back at us, So, I mean, like I said, if you've listened to the catalog, it's all 420, but it's kind of all over the place. You know what I'm saying? We got the one song, Your Very First High, obviously heavily influenced by Michael Jackson, Remember the Time, but I mean, the rest of the stuff was pretty much either G-Funk or something between G-Funk and reggae. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, obviously our age bracket, I mean, G-Funk is what we grew up on, everything Above the Law, NWA, that whole Ruthless Camp, Bay Area stuff. I mean, Ill Manor Posse, shout out Cooknut, rest in peace. From Palo Alto, we listened to artists like Totally Insane, the original Totally Insane, Huey P, all them cats. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how that came together. I mean, Smooth would come up with the hooks. I throw a verse on there. He bounce something back at me. We doing the writing thing. So,
well, all right, man. That was wonderful news. We thank you for sharing that with us, Young T. We're running out of time here. We got a few more minutes before we wrap this up. I want to say it's a pleasure and an honor having you here at KJCC, San Jose City College, on the Amazing Fofo Radio show. And thank you, Fadia, for having us here today.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Do you have any more questions for Young T before we wrap this up? We got a few more minutes.
You should guys make a new track song.
Yeah.
And perform.
Got something in mind for JBLUE. Yeah. He don't know it yet, but we got something in store.
Yes. Yeah. As a matter of fact, let me just take this time to say that I apologize if I'm keeping anyone waiting or I'm keeping everybody, if I'm procrastinating or, there's a delay on what I'm doing. I'm just right now. I'm just trying to perfect my craft. I'm not really one of those kind of people that you could just be like, yo, let's do a track, and I'm just going to do a track right away because, I'm nervous. I like to do good music, and I'm not Tupac, so I can't just like write a song in 15 minutes and be like, yo, this is dope. I can't. If I could do that,
I relate.
It'd be great. I listened to some interviews by Too Short, E40, some of the greats, and that's why I'm just like, man, like maybe I should take more time in writing because I've been doing a lot of freestyling. So if I want to do a professional record and I do something with Young T or anybody, I do want it to be professional. Otherwise, it'll just be a hobby and I'll just be wasting, So I'm, more music on the way, more music coming soon.
Yes, sir.
Young T, JBLUE,
yes, sir.
Get ready. Yes, we ain't gonna drop no release date we just gonna drop it on you motherfuckers.
That's right.
Oh, excuse me for my language.
Bang them on the top of the melon with it. Yeah. I'm of the same mind. I mean, yeah, I can freestyle, it used to be all I used to do, but I figure if you trying to get people to purchase your music, you should take the requisite time to ensure that you give them the best product possible. If that requires 25 or 1,000 rewrites, you do that. You know what I mean? Because, you want people to want to see you and want to play your stuff. You don't want somebody to go in and buy your $10 album and only play one song. If they bought it, cool. But most people nowadays are just buying singles. So if you can get them to buy your album because you took the time to perfect your craft, that's what you should be doing.
Oh, and one more thing before we wrap this up. Where can everybody find you at social media?
So my IG is Young T, with a D, A, super nigga with 2 C's instead of G's. Young T the super nigga. That's on IG. That's also on Facebook. So look me up. Think you're gonna dig some of what I got. And more coming.
All right. Thanks a lot, Young T. We appreciate your time.
Appreciate you.
All right. And we out.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Thank you.